My question revolves around the American dream. So 30 years ago, my parents' generation could afford extremely cheap college tuition, enter a stable job market, and purchase a single family home to fulfill the American dream. My parents worked hard to see me and my sister succeed, and they really delivered on that. Yet today we live in a generation with college education reaching almost $100,000 a year. We live in a world where many young college graduates are going into a worsening job market, and the Anthropic report showing that AI is going to take many jobs in tech, finance, AI, many career fields that many of us Penn students plan to go into in the future. And we also live in a world where home prices are skyrocketing beyond reach that the normal average American cannot afford. As someone who believes in the very fundamental system of capitalism, but feels that many Americans are losing touch with the system, how should we interpret this American dream today? How do you convince us?
So I think, first of all, that we ought to be accurate about what our parents' experiences were. So the Wall Street Journal had a fabulous piece a little bit earlier this week where it actually analyzed where, say, millennials are versus where their parents were at the same point in their life. And as it turns out, actually, housing, relatively speaking, is cheaper now than it would have been if you include the interest rates, for example. The interest rates back in 1980 were sky high. They were like 9, 10, 11%. That was the norm back in the 1970s and 80s. The interest rates now, which are in the 6s and 7s, that seems incredibly high to us because we lived in this gigantic bubble that was created by the Fed. But the reality is that the normal interest rate on a mortgage for most of American history was up in the 7, 8, 9, 10% range. It was not down where we are currently experiencing it. As far as housing that your parents bought was, frankly put, shit. It wasn't good. If you go back and you look at the stuff, when people say everyone could afford a house in 1950, go look at the houses that they were living in 1950. You're talking about like little brick boxes that have no air conditioning in them. And I promise you, you can get those today for nothing. They're unbelievably cheap.